Yeah, I saw him possibly playing knight c4, and I thought it was good to undouble my pawns. I mean, they were doubled, and it seemed pretty worthless because it wasn't doing much. Maybe he controlled that square, but that's what I did, and I thought it was interesting that he did not play knight c4. I thought he was going to do that because I think it's good for him to just yeah trade that knight for this bishop, but he decides to control d4 and maybe decide to go with knight c2 instead of c4, knight c4. But yeah, I think if I was white, I probably would have went with knight c4. But that would have been my style. I played queen to e6, queen e6. Um, One reason is because I want to prevent knight c4, and I'm thinking about like moving the queen over to g6 because yeah that would put the queen on the same file as the white king. So yeah, then bishop h3 would be a threat or a potential threat. So those were my thoughts for that move. And he decides to move the knight. I I decided to just continue with the development, put more pressure on e3. Um, now he moves the queen to d2, which will free this rook, connect the rooks. I could have played rook to b8 from a8, rook a b8. I could have played that to attack that pawn. Um, I wasn't sure what I would do after white plays b3. I mean, I could just continue with rook to d8, but I'm not sure if there was an advantage of white playing that move, b3. I wasn't sure if I could do anything about that, so I just decided not to do that. And so he plays it anyways. Okay. Um, yeah, I decided to reroute the bishop. I thought it would be a little bit better on this diagonal. And possibly I would consider bishop e4. I just didn't see anything with queen g6 just yet. I mean, because he could have played. Yeah, he could play knight h4. I think he could have played that earlier too. Like I mentioned queen g6 earlier. Yeah, I think he could have played knight h4 there. So yeah, that's why I didn't play queen g6. Okay, so he brings out his other rook. I decide to move the bishop because yeah, I want to play queen g6. And I don't want to deal with knight knight h4. So I thought that was pretty good. And he plays that move, c4, threatening to push with d5. That's all right. And here I go with queen g6. I don't see anything yet as far as attacking the king, but I do attack the knight twice with the bishop and queen, so white will have to guard the knight or move the knight. Okay. So I played queen h5, which puts some pressure on h2, and I don't see anything like immediately like a blowout attack, but I'm developing an attack, and I'm doing something like, okay, I'm gonna bring this rook here and bring it up to here and put tons of pressure on the king. And what I'm doing is trying to get all my pieces to participate in an attack, and just hope that something will come up. And he decides to double up on the f file, because I mean, at some point maybe white can like counterattack by some chance, counterattack on f7, but yeah, I wasn't too worried about that just yet. So I'm gonna continue with my original plan here, just try to get some pieces attacking, and he's trying to bring in more reinforcements for defense. And I decided to bring my other rook to e8. See, if I played something like rook g6, I think that would be playable. I think it would have been playable, but I didn't see enough. Yeah, I didn't see enough yet, so I thought I would keep that option open and attack this e pawn at the same time, because I might want to like bring this rook into the attack as well. So yeah, those were my general thoughts for that. So he plays g3, and I continue with my attack. And right here's the key moment. He takes the pawn. I have different ideas here to consider. I could consider taking the pawn with the bishop, putting pressure here, which doesn't seem to be too bad. Let's see. Because like when I move the bishop, I threaten that pawn. That rook indirectly attacks this pawn. But I mean, it seems like there's something there, but I didn't quite see anything there. So I also considered my option to sack right here, which is interesting, which I did. I did because I did sack. So okay, I sacked. He took. I mean, I think that was his only option. And now I took back with the rook, and he has to block check. He only has two legal moves, so uh, maybe I should bring up the analysis board to show what I was looking at. Let's see. This is the full game, so okay, he takes here. Um, he plays rook g2, which I thought was the best, but as you can see here, knight here loses to bishop takes f3. I mean, because yeah, you can't. You, yeah, this will just be down the exchange for white. White is down the exchange here. Yeah, I don't think this is anything good for white. And e3 is still weak. King is exposed. So and the knight is pinned. So okay, white played there. Um, I considered that move, which is interesting because if he takes, then we get something like this.